The alarm clock went off at 5 a.m. sharp, slicing through the quiet of a small apartment that used to feel like home. Daniel turned it off before the second ring. Habit. Not even the sound of morning startled him anymore. He sat at the edge of the bed, staring down at his hands, the same hands that once held dreams, now trembling slightly from too much caffeine and too little peace. His uniform was neatly pressed, his badge shining on the dresser beside his wedding ring, both waiting to be worn. He reached for the badge first. In the next room, Maya moved softly in the kitchen. The smell of toast drifted in the air, faint and familiar. She was trying, even when he didn't deserve it. Daniel walked in, adjusting his tie, his eyes catching hers for only a moment. "Morning," he muttered. "Morning," she replied, without looking up. They used to talk about everything. The future, the house they'd buy, the names of children they might have. But now, words felt like intruders. The silence between them was clean, polite, and deadly. As he reached for his mug, she said it, quietly, almost like she'd been rehearsing it for days. "You come home every night, but I haven't had you in months." He froze. There was no anger in her voice, only fatigue. That made it worse. He wanted to answer, to promise something, to say this job is hard, or you don't understand what I see out there, but the truth stopped him. Because she was right. He had been coming home as an officer, not as a husband. His body arrived. His mind stayed at the precinct. He grabbed his keys and left before his voice could betray him. The morning light hit his patrol car like judgment. The city was already awake, sirens, buses, vendors shouting over prices. But Daniel felt miles away. Every sound was muffled by that one sentence echoing in his head, "You come home, but you're not here." At the precinct, he nodded through roll call, took his assignment, and stepped out on patrol with his partner, Evans, an older cop who carried his age in his eyes. Evans cracked a joke about marriage, about how police work ruins romance. The younger officers laughed. Daniel smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. He thought about Maya, how her laughter had gone from bright to brittle. How she waited less, asked less, expected less. Later that afternoon, while responding to a disturbance call outside a small store, Daniel saw a man yelling at his wife. It wasn't violent, just desperate, raw, the kind of fight where both people want to be heard but neither knows how to listen. Daniel didn't even reach for his badge. He just watched. The man's face flushed with anger, the woman's tears trembling between words. He saw himself there. He saw his uniform in the man's pride. He saw Maya in the woman's exhaustion. For a second, the job fell away, and what stood there wasn't an officer. It was a husband realizing how far he'd drifted. That night, Daniel returned home long after sunset. The apartment lights were off except for the glow of the TV. Maya was asleep on the couch again, a blanket half falling off her shoulder, dinner untouched on the table. He stood there, still in uniform, watching her breathe. The silence pressed against his chest until something in him cracked open. He sat beside her quietly, removed his badge and placed it on the table. The small clink sounded louder than any siren. His voice came out low, unsteady. "I don't know when I started losing us, but I want to find my way back." She didn't wake, but something about saying it out loud made him feel lighter, as if confession itself was the first act of healing. For the first time, Daniel realized that silence wasn't peace. It was distance dressed as calm. And he had mistaken one for the other for far too long. The next day, during another shift, Daniel found himself handling a tense domestic call, a man yelling at his wife while holding their crying baby. The old Daniel would have stepped in, issued warnings, followed protocol. But something new in him held back, listening first. He approached slowly, voice low, eyes soft. "I don't know what's going on, but yelling won't make her hear you better. I know. I've been there." The man froze mid-sentence. The woman blinked through tears. Even the baby's cry softened. Daniel didn't fix their marriage that day, but he defused a storm by acknowledging his own. That night, when he returned home, Maya was awake, sitting at the table with 2 mugs of tea. He hesitated, unsure if he'd earned a seat. She nodded toward the chair. "Sit," she said simply. They sat in silence for a moment, the kind that wasn't cold this time, but open. "You look different," she finally said. He gave a tired smile. Maybe I'm just tired of pretending the badge makes me better than the man wearing it. Maya reached across the table, her fingers brushing his hand for the first time in weeks. Then let's start there, she whispered. And in that moment, Daniel understood. The badge could protect lives, but only love could protect a home.